And
pretty
if you
smooth
hit
flowing.
Indian artifacts and have to close down and exhume
Exactly.
bodies or something there.
But we have an
then-
extensive.
I mean, you never know what you're going to find.
Right, and we do have plans that if that happens, we
Uh-huh.
know exactly what we
Uh-huh.
implement and how we're able to continue to do work at the same time. We have a huge environmental mitigation project for the BART project that actually occurred at Berryessa Extension called the Upper Penitentia Creek. So all the environmental mitigations we need, particularly in the biological areas and that, we actually did at Berryessa Station. That is already completed, a beautiful relocation and realignment of the creek, and all new habitat is forming, and we'll be monitoring that for the next 5 to 10 years to make sure that's all established.
It has been, I know you don't work directly with BART, but are they looking to change their train? Are they going to do any more upgrades? I mean, it's an ancient, it was
Yes.
a innovative system when it was put in place.
BART is 40
And-
years old this year.
Actually, my
Right.
my former brother-in-law, he, as the number 3 person at Barton, he came in from a station agent all the way up the food chain to the top of the level of BART. And he got involved when they first opened up BART, which was what, 40 years there?
Right, right.
Yeah.
It's
So, again, my thought would be, is that equipment beginning to age? Or
right,
is
and we do work really closely with BART, up in their offices quite a bit, working on that. They are a 40-year-old system, and they have some a whole program that they'd like to do in terms of modernizing their stations and a lot of their actually just their components that allow them to run. One of the things that though they're doing is they're actually buying, hoping to replace their entire fleet of vehicles.
Okay.
They actually have executed a contract with Bombardier to actually begin that replacement, and in those are new vehicles for our extension. So we'll have new vehicles that we're purchasing for our extension, and some of their vehicles are the original vehicles for the BART system. They've been refurbished, but they're the original vehicles. So
Well, I think they were
it's-
ahead of their time, even back then, weren't they?
Yes, yes, they were.
So,
So they'll have new vehicles. That's one area. Maintenance facilities in terms of so that they're able to provide a strategic maintenance program to keep those vehicles running. We're participating in that.
I was going to say ongoing. Once they come here, how will you participate with BART on the ongoing?
Right. In
maintenance?
some cases, like on long term, we will have an obligation, financial obligation, to work with them as well, and then we'll be providing facilities in our area of the extension that they'll be able to use in terms of storing trains and managing the
Right.
system.
Right.
Providing maintenance of the track work
Right.
and that.
Right. Okay.
Oh, terrific. Well, this has been really enlightening. I hope folks have learned a lot about the.
Do you like trains, by the way? His eyes glowing. Every guy likes trains.
Oh,
so
I do. And when my kids were younger, they were all train buffs, and we've ridden just about every train you can find here in the Bay Area to Sacramento, and so it'll be great to have BART and have that
and it's
really
going to be
readily accessible.
such an asset to the community to be. I mean, can you imagine being able to drive to the Great Mall or walk if you live in one of the homes out there and travel all the way to San Francisco without in your car? I mean, it's just going to be wonderful. So.
Well, yeah, I think it's going to be a real benefit for our community. Again, accessibility, but also for our businesses to be able to get folks here to be able to work and to be able to to connect easily to shopping at the Great Mall. I mean, it's a terrific project.
Yeah, we're seeing great benefits from the project. We actually did an economic analysis
Nice.
and saw that for every dollar we would put into the project, you'll see $4 to $10 of economic investment return, depending on the amount of development that happens. And
Nice.
and both Milpitas and San Jose have created great plans around the transit stations to be very supportive of that, as well as the businesses that are in the area.
Terrific. Well, and I know that that area continues to change. We have more housing that's coming in there. It's linking to the transportation hub as well, and so to make that convenient place to live.
Well, Carolyn, I want to thank you so much
you're
for
welcome.
Being a guest on our show, and you can take home with you a little T-shirt to remember your interview here on Valley Homes
Yes.
on TV. It's logo with the Valley Homes on TV edition, so
Nice,
that's
thank
for you.
you.
And like I said, we'll get you a DVD of the show.
Oh, thank you.
What other pieces of contact information do you want out there?
Pretty much the site gives us pretty much all the contact information that there is. There also is a phone number. Right. There's a website and a phone number.
Well, thank you
contact.
for being our guest. You've enlightened us and putting us into the 21st or 22nd century with having Bart coming in and all you do for VTA. It's,
Right.
Moving people around this valley is so important and critical.
I appreciate your being here, and it's got to be fulfilling for you too, having been involved in this project for so many years, to
Yes.
actually see it come to fruition here. So
Right.
thanks for all your work with that, and again, thanks for being our guest.
Yes.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Through the years, trends and styles may come and go, but the important things remain the same. Generation after generation, consistently there, creating moments and memories to last a lifetime. Like a true friend, the national parks have always been there for you, and now you can be there for them. Support the National Park Foundation and help protect America's treasured places.
Hello, everyone. You're watching Valley Homes on TV. I'm Debbie Giordano, along with Todd Flesner. We're here to do our wrap-up, which we're going to give you some statistics for the month of November.
Right, we like to take a look at how the market's doing here in Milpitas.
Right, and it's really been an exciting market. Well, first of all, the San Jose Mercury just a few weeks ago reported in housing market, housing continues recovery, and that certainly is the case, at least right here in Milpitas. So let me give you some numbers that are, I think, rather revealing. You're going to like to hear these numbers because I know you're a Milpitas property owner. September 2011, we had, for an average home price, single family, $507,000, and a median price of $440,000. And last month in October, the average price jumped to $621,000, and the median price jumped to $631,000.
That's a big increase.
Huge increase. And the condo and townhouse market, in September of 2011, it was $324,000 for an average price and $358,000 for a median price, and that jumped now to, in October, an average price of $339,000 and a median price of $320,000. So not quite as dramatic increase as a single family, but certainly noteworthy to
Right.
talk about that.
Well, I know our interest rates are a little bit lower than they were a year ago, so that helps to make some adjustment for affordability.
Is it true? Is it 3.375, I want to say?
That's about where things are. And they move a little bit on a daily basis, but we've been in the low threes for 30-year conforming fixed rate loans.
Well, and what's been happening, Todd, I had an open house just 2 weeks ago, and the flood of buyers that are coming through, it's tremendous, and there's very little inventory. So it has created a seller's market.
Well, and anecdotally, I'm sure that you're seeing the same thing I am with buyers, where they're really having to compete in a multiple offer situation.
Right.
And so that's helped to bring those home prices up that we're seeing now in the statistics.
Yeah, and I think we'll continue to see that. Maybe a little bit more, might be some leveling off as the inventory increases in springtime of next year, but we'll take a look at that and have folks make sure they tune in and get those numbers up to date. So the question of the day, everybody's throwing out the word fiscal cliff. Now that the elections are over, President Obama's back in. And what is this fiscal cliff all?
Well, the
cliff all
fiscal
about?
cliff actually is something where they kicked the can down the road from about 6 months ago.
Okay.
There were these debt ceiling negotiations between the Republicans and Democrats. And in essence, we'd run up the bill on our credit card. We continued to borrow money, and we had hit the limit. And so they took an act of Congress to raise that limit, and they moved that here now to the end of the year, where we again are up against that limit. Part of that negotiation, they said if you can't come up with a solution, there are going to be automatic cuts in spending that are pretty significant, along with significant tax increases. And so, both sides see things in that they like, but a lot of things that they don't like as well. And so, to some extent, it's political theater. And both sides are going to look to see what they can do to score political points and to be able to appease their base to the extent that they can. We always seem to get these things resolved. We seem to always be able to
I agree.
kind of put that off down the road. And so I expect that that will probably be another outcome that we have here.
So we're not taping next month in December. We're taking the holidays.
So we'll see how good my prediction is.
Let's see how Todd's fiscal cliff prediction is, if we're going off the cliff or if we're going to stay on top of it.
Right.
Ellerin is already cluing us in. We had a short time to just be able to fill in the gap here
That's
with some
correct.
numbers. If folks need to contact you, Todd?
Phone is the best way, 408-921-0669. And for you?
My cell, 408-858-5771. And Todd and I'd be happy to field any questions you have that we can do here on the show for you. So with that said, happy holidays to you and your family.
Thank you, and the same to you and to the folks who tune in to
We'll be
watch us.
seeing you in 2013.